Black teen Astounds karate masters earns black belt in record time. The sharp crack of breaking wood echoed through the hushed dojo. 16-year-old Marcus Johnson stood amid the splintered remains of what had been 3 solid oak boards, his dark skin glistening with sweat, chest heaving with exertion. The room fell silent as 6 black belt masters exchanged glances of disbelief. What they had just witnessed defied everything they understood about the progression of martial arts training. "Again," said Master Hiroshi, his weathered face unreadable. At 68, the 7th-degree black belt had seen thousands of students pass through his dojo over 4 decades. None had progressed like Marcus. Marcus repositioned himself, centering his breathing as he had been taught, his eyes intense, focused, fixed on the new stack of boards placed before him. For this time, no one his age had ever broken 4. "Impossible," whispered one of the younger masters, just loud enough for everyone to hear. Marcus's jaw tightened almost imperceptibly. He had heard that word too many times in the 8 months since he first stepped into the East Bridge Martial Arts Academy. 8 months. That's all it had taken him to advance to this moment, his black belt examination. An achievement that typically required 4 to 6 years of dedicated training. As Marcus prepared to strike, the questions hanging in the air were palpable. Was this teen truly a prodigy deserving of the coveted black belt? Or was the system being compromised to accommodate him? And more troublingly, would granting him this honor devalue what others had spent years earning? With a sudden ki that startled even the masters, Marcus's hand sliced downward. 6 months earlier, Marcus Johnson stood outside East Bridge Martial Arts Academy, his hand hesitating on the door handle. Through the window, he could see students in crisp white gis moving in disciplined formations across polished wooden floors. Almost all were white or Asian. None looked like him. "You don't have to do this," said his mother, Tanya, who had driven him here after her hospital shift. Her nurse's scrubs were still visible under her coat. "I want to," Marcus replied, though his voice betrayed uncertainty. The truth was more complicated. After the incident at school, when 3 seniors had cornered him behind the gym, leaving him with bruised ribs and a split lip, his options had narrowed. The principal had made it clear. Another fight, regardless of who started it, and Marcus would face expulsion. His academic scholarship to Westridge Prep, his ticket to a better future, hung by a thread. Self-defense classes were the guidance counselor's idea, Marcus reminded her. Tanya squeezed his shoulder. "Just remember why you're here. It's not about fighting. It's about discipline, focus, self-control," Marcus finished for her. The words already felt worn from repetition. "Exactly," she checked her watch. "I'll pick you up at 8. I love you." As his mother's car pulled away, Marcus took a deep breath and entered the dojo. The conversation inside immediately hushed. 20 pairs of eyes turned toward him. An elderly Japanese man approached. Despite his age, he moved with fluid grace. "May I help you? I called earlier about beginner classes," Marcus said, acutely aware of how his voice echoed in the suddenly quiet room. "Ah, yes, Marcus Johnson," the man bowed slightly. "I am Master Hiroshi. Welcome to East Bridge." From the back of the room, Marcus heard a whisper. "Another charity case." His shoulders tensed, but he kept his expression neutral, a skill perfected through years of being one of the few black students at Westridge Prep. Master Hiroshi introduced him to Sensei David, a degree black belt in his 30s who taught the beginner classes. Unlike Master Hiroshi's measured welcome, Sensei David's assessment was brisk and businesslike. "Any previous martial arts experience?" "No, sir." "Athletic background?" "Track and basketball, some boxing with my uncle." Sensei David nodded. "We'll start you with the fundamentals. Stances, blocks, basic strikes. Don't expect to advance quickly. Karate is about patience." A tall student with a brown belt approached, introducing himself as Tyler Bennett. With his perfectly styled blonde hair and confident demeanor, he embodied the privileged ease that Marcus had encountered throughout his academic life at Westridge. "I'll get him set up with a gi," Tyler offered, but his smile didn't reach his eyes. As they walked to the equipment room, Tyler spoke in a lowered voice. "Just so you know, we take this pretty seriously here. It's not just about showing up. There's tradition, respect, dedication." "I understand," Marcus replied evenly. "Do you?" Tyler's tone sharpened. "Because a lot of guys come in thinking they'll be Bruce Lee in a month. This isn't a movie. Most quit within weeks." Marcus met his gaze directly. "I'm not here to quit. We'll see." In the changing room, Marcus slipped into the stiff white gi. The cotton fabric felt foreign against his skin. When he emerged, he noticed a young woman practicing complex kata with fluid precision. Her movements were hypnotic, powerful, yet graceful. "That's Sensei Eiko," said a voice beside him. A boy about Marcus's age, but smaller in build, stood watching. Master Hiroshi's granddaughter, fourth-degree black belt at 22. She trained in Japan for 3 years. She's amazing, Marcus said honestly. Jason Kim, the boy introduced himself with a slight bow. Green belt 2 years in, you picked a good dojo, tough but good. Marcus Johnson, word of advice, when you fall and you will fall a lot, fall correctly, it hurts less. That first class confirmed Jason's warning. Marcus fell, repeatedly. Basic stances that looked simple proved to be exercises in muscle control he hadn't known he needed. By the end of 2 hours, his legs trembled with fatigue and his gi was soaked with sweat. Not bad for day one, Jason offered as they changed afterward. You're naturally athletic, that helps. Didn't feel like it helped much, Marcus admitted, wincing as he rotated his shoulder. Trust me, some people can barely make it through warm-ups their first time. As Marcus waited outside for his mother, Sensei Eiko exited the dojo. Up close, he noticed the intensity in her eyes, a focus that seemed to evaluate everything she encountered. New student? She asked, her English accented but clear. Yes, Sensei, Marcus replied, remembering the proper address. Your stance was too wide during basics, she said without preamble. Power comes from proper form, not just strength. Before Marcus could respond, she demonstrated, her feet shifting subtly. Like this, try. Surprised, Marcus mirrored her position. Better, she nodded. You listen well, that's good. She studied him for a moment longer. Why did you come here? The directness of her question caught him off guard. I need to learn to defend myself. Many places teach fighting. Why karate? Why this dojo? Marcus hesitated. It was recommended, and it's close to my school. Eiko seemed to consider this, clearly sensing the partial truth. Karate is not just about fighting. It's about knowing when not to fight. Remember that. With a slight bow, she walked to a sleek motorcycle parked nearby. As his mother's car pulled up, Marcus found himself contemplating Sensei Eiko's words. He had come seeking protection, a way to prevent another beating. But something about the discipline he'd witnessed today, the respect, the focus, stirred something deeper within him. Later that night, as Marcus applied ice to his sore muscles, his 13-year-old sister Zoe peeked into his room. How was Kung Fu? She asked, flopping onto his bed. It's karate, he corrected. And it was hard. Did you break any boards or people? Marcus laughed despite his fatigue. It doesn't work like that. First day is all basics, how to stand, how to block. Zoe looked disappointed. Boring. Kind of, Marcus admitted, but also not. There's something about getting the moves exactly right. It feels good when you do. His phone buzzed with a text from his friend Dion. How was ninja school? Harder than it looks, Marcus replied. Going back Thursday. For real? Thought this was just to get the counselor off your back. Marcus paused, considering. His initial motivation had been pragmatic, satisfy the counselor, learn enough to protect himself. But after just one class, something had shifted. The discipline, the focus, the challenge of perfecting each movement, it resonated with him in unexpected ways. Might stick with it, he texted back. Over the next 2 weeks, Marcus attended classes diligently, 3 times a week. The routines became familiar, bowing when entering the dojo, the warm-up exercises, the repetitive drills of basic punches and blocks. What surprised him most was how quickly his body adapted. Movements that had initially felt awkward began to flow naturally. After his 6th class, Sensei David approached him during the water break. Your progress is notable, he said, his tone measured. You have good natural instincts, but remember, karate is not about advancing quickly. It's about mastering each level completely before moving forward. Yes, Sensei, Marcus replied. Some students, Sensei David continued, his eyes drifting toward Tyler, who was practicing with another brown belt, train for years to reach the higher levels. It's a journey of patience. The subtext was clear, don't expect special treatment. That evening, as Marcus demonstrated a basic blocking sequence for his family in their modest living room, his father watched with unexpected interest. Robert Johnson had been skeptical about the karate classes, viewing them as an unnecessary expense when Marcus could have simply learned to handle himself, the way Robert had growing up in South Chicago. They say anything about when you'll move up? Robert asked. It takes time, Dad, Marcus explained. White belts usually train for at least 3 to 4 months before testing for yellow. Robert snorted. Sounds like they just want to keep collecting your monthly dues. It's not like that, Marcus defended. There's a lot to learn at each level. I think it's cool, Zoe piped in, attempting her own awkward version of Marcus's block. Tanya emerged from the kitchen, still in her nursing scrubs after a long shift. How much are those private lessons Master Hiroshi mentioned when I picked you up? Marcus hesitated. $80 an hour, but I don't need those. The regular classes are fine. Robert shook his head. $80 an hour to learn how to punch. Highway robbery. It's more than punching, Marcus insisted, a flash of irritation rising. It's about discipline, control, respect. I respect saving our money, Robert replied, especially with college coming up. Your scholarship will cover tuition, Tanya reminded Marcus gently. If these classes are helping, we'll make it work. The unspoken part hung in the air. After the incident at school, they all needed Marcus to make this work. The following week brought an unexpected development. After class, Master Hiroshi himself approached Marcus. You learn quickly, the elderly master observed. Your body remembers what your mind absorbs. Thank you, Master, Marcus replied, surprised by the direct attention. Tell me, Master Hiroshi said, what do you hope to achieve through karate? Again, that direct question about his motivations. Marcus considered his answer carefully. At first, I just wanted to learn self-defense, but now I enjoy the discipline, the focus. Master Hiroshi studied him, his gaze penetrating. There is something unusual in your approach. You don't just repeat movements, you seek to understand them. Before Marcus could respond, Tyler approached, bowing respectfully to Master Hiroshi. Excuse me, Master, the advanced class is about to begin. Yes, of course, Master Hiroshi nodded. Marcus, consider what I have said. Potential, if recognized and properly nurtured, can blossom extraordinarily. With that cryptic statement, he moved toward the front of the dojo. Tyler remained, his expression tight. Advanced class is for brown and black belts only, been that way for years. I know, Marcus replied evenly. I was just talking to Master Hiroshi. Right, just remember some of us have been training for years to get where we are. There's no shortcut to earning these. Tyler touched his brown belt meaningfully before walking away. As Marcus changed in the locker room, Jason slid onto the bench beside him. Don't mind Tyler, he said quietly. He's been here since he was 10, expected to be the youngest black belt in dojo history until Eiko beat him to it years ago, still bitter about it. I'm not trying to take anything from anyone, Marcus said. Maybe not, but... Jason hesitated. Master Hiroshi doesn't usually talk to new students like that, not personally. People notice. On his way out, Marcus passed the advanced class in session. Through the viewing window, he watched Sensei Eiko demonstrating a complex sequence of moves. Her precision was mesmerizing. Beside her, Master Hiroshi observed with critical attention, occasionally adjusting a student's form with the lightest touch. A sudden impulse seized Marcus. Instead of heading home, he found a quiet corner of the outdoor practice area. Under the glow of security lights, he began to replicate the basic kata he'd learned, repeating each movement with intense focus, adjusting, refining, feeling the energy flow through his body with each precise shift of weight. He didn't notice Sensei Eiko watching until she spoke. Your dedication is admirable, but practicing incorrect form reinforces bad habits. Marcus stopped immediately, embarrassed to be caught. I was just trying to... I know what you were trying to do, she interrupted. Come. I will show you properly. For the next 30 minutes, Sensei Eiko guided Marcus through the kata with meticulous attention to detail. Her instructions were exact, sometimes stern but never unkind. She demanded precision but recognized effort. Why are you helping me? Marcus finally asked during a brief pause. Eiko considered the question. My grandfather sees something in you. I am curious what it is. Her directness was refreshing if intimidating. You move differently than most beginners. More intuitive. Is that good? It can be, or it can lead to overconfidence. She demonstrated a defensive position. Again, feel the balance point. As they continued, Marcus lost track of time, absorbed in the pursuit of perfection in each movement. When his phone buzzed, his mother texting that she'd arrived, he was surprised to see they'd been practicing for over an hour. Thank you, Sensei, he bowed deeply. Tomorrow, same time after regular class, she said, not a question but a command. I can't afford private lessons, Marcus admitted reluctantly. Eiko's expression remained neutral. Did I mention payment? Tomorrow, don't be late. As he slid into his mother's car, Tanya noticed his expression. Good session? Yeah, Marcus said, still processing what had just happened. Really good. Over the next 3 weeks, a routine developed. After regular classes, Marcus would meet Sensei Eiko for what became unofficial private lessons. Never formally acknowledged, never discussed with other students, these sessions transformed his understanding of karate. Eiko was demanding but fair, pushing Marcus beyond what he thought possible while insisting on flawless technique. Power without control is merely violence, she would say, correcting his form. Control without power is merely dance. Karate seeks the balance between. Word of these special sessions inevitably spread through the dojo. Whispers followed Marcus, some of curiosity, others of resentment. Tyler, in particular, made his displeasure known through pointed comments during partner exercises. Some people earn their place, he muttered during a sparring drill. Others have it handed to them. Marcus ignored the provocations, focusing instead on his training. The discipline of karate was spilling into other areas of his life. His focus at school improved. His simmering anger, always present since the incident behind the gym, began to cool into something more controlled, more directed. After a month of training, during a routine belt evaluation, Sensei David made an unprecedented announcement. Marcus Johnson will be promoted directly to blue belt. A murmur ran through the assembled students. The normal progression was white to yellow to orange to green to blue, a process that typically took 18 months or more. Marcus had bypassed 3 belt levels in just over 4 weeks. As Sensei David tied the blue belt around Marcus's waist, the sensei's expression was unreadable. This promotion comes by direct recommendation of Master Hiroshi and Sensei Eiko. Bear the responsibility with honor. The dojo's traditional applause followed, but Marcus could feel the undercurrent of confusion and resentment. As students dispersed after the ceremony, Tyler confronted him near the water fountain. "Blue belt in a month," he said, his voice low but intense. "Must be nice having the master's granddaughter in your corner." "I've been putting in the work," Marcus replied calmly, though his heart raced. "Extra hours every day." "We've all put in work," Tyler countered. "Years of it. You think you're special, that you deserve to skip ahead of everyone else." Jason appeared beside them, his presence a deliberate buffer. "Promotions are Master Hiroshi's decision, Tyler, not yours." Tyler's jaw tightened. "Remember what I said on your first day? About tradition and respect. This," he gestured to Marcus's blue belt, "disrespects everyone who earned their rank the right way." As Tyler walked away, Jason sighed. "Don't take it personally. He's been like this with anyone Master Hiroshi shows special interest in." "Maybe he's right," Marcus said, fingering the stiff new blue belt uncomfortably. "Maybe this was too soon." "If Master Hiroshi and Sensei Eiko believe you're ready," Jason assured him. "They don't make these decisions lightly." That evening, when Marcus demonstrated his advanced kata for his family, his father's skepticism had evolved into cautious pride. "Blue belt already?" Robert nodded appreciatively. "Maybe there's something to this karate business after all." Zoe was more enthusiastic. "That's like super fast, right? Are you a prodigy or something?" "It's not like that," Marcus explained, though the question echoed his own uncertainty. "I've just been putting in extra time. Sensei Eiko's been helping me after class." Tanya looked up from her nursing textbook. "The private lessons, I thought those were $80 an hour." "She's not charging me," Marcus admitted. "She just offered to help." His parents exchanged a look that Marcus couldn't quite interpret. Concern, suspicion. "That's unusually generous," his mother said carefully. "Why would she do that?" The question had haunted Marcus himself. "I'm not sure. She said something about Master Hiroshi seeing potential in me." "Well," Robert said, crossing his arms, "just make sure there's no strings attached. Nothing comes for free in this world." "It's not like that, Dad," Marcus insisted, though he couldn't articulate exactly what it was like. "Karate's important to them. It's like preserving their heritage, their tradition. I think they just want to pass it on to someone who appreciates it." Later that night, as Marcus practiced in the privacy of his room, his phone buzzed with a text from Dion. "Heard you got promoted to blue already. That's wild." Marcus wasn't surprised that word had spread beyond the dojo. Westridge Prep was a small community, and news traveled fast. "Yeah, still figuring it out myself. Tyler Bennett's telling everyone they're just using you for publicity. First black belt at East Bridge or something." The text hit Marcus like a physical blow. Was that it? Was he just a diversity initiative for the dojo? The thought made his stomach twist. "That's not it," he texted back with more certainty than he felt. "How do you know?" came Dion's reply. The truth was, Marcus didn't know, but he was determined to find out. The next day, he arrived at the dojo earlier than usual, finding Master Hiroshi alone, preparing for the day's classes. The elderly master was methodically arranging training equipment, his movements economical despite his age. "Master Hiroshi," Marcus began, bowing respectfully. "May I speak with you?" "Of course, Marcus. What troubles you?" The direct question momentarily threw Marcus off balance. "I wanted to ask about my promotion to blue belt." Master Hiroshi set down the training pads he was arranging. "You believe it was unearned?" "Not exactly, I've heard people saying it might be for reasons other than my skill. Because you are black," Master Hiroshi finished directly. Marcus nodded uncomfortably. The old master's eyes narrowed slightly. "Do you believe I have built this dojo's reputation over 40 years by making decisions based on such trivial matters as the color of one's skin?" "No, Master," Marcus replied quickly. "Good, because I have not." Master Hiroshi gestured for Marcus to sit on the training mat. After a moment, he continued. "In Japan, there is a concept called shajin. It means devotion or wholehearted dedication. It is rare to see true Shojin in students today. They want belts, trophies, recognition, but the true essence of karate eludes them. He fixed Marcus with a penetrating gaze. You have Shojin, I recognized it that first day. But I've only been training for a month, Marcus protested. Time is not the only measure of progress, Master Hiroshi replied. Some walk a path slowly, taking in every detail. Others run the same path, absorbing just as much. The destination is reached differently, but reached nonetheless. Before Marcus could respond, Master Hiroshi rose to his feet with surprising agility. Tomorrow, come to the special training session, 6 a.m. It is normally for black belts only, but I think you are ready. As other students began to arrive for the morning class, Marcus found himself with more questions than answers. But beneath the uncertainty, a new resolve was forming. If Master Hiroshi truly saw something special in him, this Shojin, then Marcus was determined to prove him right. The special training session proved to be unlike anything Marcus had experienced. Before dawn, he arrived to find a small group of the dojo's black belts, including Sensei Eiko and, surprisingly, Tyler, who had apparently been invited to observe as a senior brown belt. The training was intensely physical, pushing the limits of endurance, strength, and precision. But it was also deeply philosophical. Between grueling exercises, Master Hiroshi would discuss the principles behind the movements, the historical context, the spiritual aspects of karate that went beyond mere self-defense. Karate begins and ends with respect, Master Hiroshi explained as they practiced advanced kata. Respect for your opponent, respect for yourself, respect for the art. During a water break, Tyler approached Marcus, his expression less hostile than before, though still guarded. You kept up well, he acknowledged grudgingly. Better than my first time at special training. Thanks, Marcus replied, surprised by the almost compliment. Don't get too comfortable, Tyler added. The path to black belt is still years away, no matter how fast you've moved so far. As the session concluded, Master Hiroshi addressed the group. Remember, we train not just the body, but the mind and spirit. True mastery comes when all three are in harmony. Afterward, Sensei Eiko caught up with Marcus as he was leaving. Your form has improved significantly, she said, but your kicks lack proper hip rotation. We will work on this today. Actually, Sensei, Marcus began hesitantly, I wanted to ask you something. Why me? Why have you been helping me specially? Eiko considered the question with her characteristic directness. When I was 12, training in Japan, my sensei there saw something in me that others did not. He invested extra time in my training, despite criticism from others who thought I received special treatment because of my grandfather's name. Her eyes met Marcus's directly. I am merely passing forward what was given to me, talent recognized and nurtured. But is it fair to the others? Marcus pressed. Students who have been here for years? Fair? Eiko raised an eyebrow. Is it fair that some are born with natural aptitude while others must struggle? Karate is not about fairness. It is about reaching your highest potential, whatever that may be. She adjusted her gi. Your potential is exceptional. It would be wasteful not to develop it fully. Over the next 2 months, Marcus's progress continued at a remarkable pace. The blue belt technique's more complex kata, advanced sparring strategies, deeper philosophical concepts came to him with an ease that surprised even him. His body seemed to absorb the movements intuitively, requiring fewer repetitions than most students to achieve mastery. News of the prodigy at East Bridge began to spread beyond the dojo. Other instructors from neighboring schools occasionally observed classes, their eyes following Marcus with speculative interest. After one such visit, Marcus overheard a heated discussion between Master Hiroshi and an older Korean man introduced as Master Park from the Taekwondo school across town. You push him too fast, Hiroshi, Master Park was saying. Belt levels exist for a reason. The mind must grow with the body. His mind is exceptional as well, Master Hiroshi replied calmly. Marcus understands the philosophy behind the movements, the spirit of karate. At 16, impossible. Master Park shook his head. He has talent, yes, but wisdom comes with time, not talent. Their voices lowered, and Marcus moved away, unsettled by the exchange. That evening, he found himself at the public library, researching karate history and philosophy more deeply, determined to prove that his understanding went beyond physical technique. As he sat surrounded by books on martial arts history, his phone buzzed with a text from his mother. Principal Whitman called. Wants to meet tomorrow about your remarkable turnaround. Proud of you. The message gave Marcus pause. In his intensive focus on karate, he had almost forgotten the original reason he started. The incident at school, the threat of expulsion, the need to demonstrate positive behavioral changes. Karate had transformed from a counselor's recommendation into the central pillar of his life. The meeting with Principal Whitman the next day was brief but significant. "Your teachers report a complete change in demeanor, Marcus," the principal noted, reviewing notes on his desk. "More focused in class, more controlled in potentially volatile situations. Coach Stevens even mentioned you've shown improved discipline in track practice." "Thank you, sir," Marcus replied. "This karate program seems to be exactly what you needed." Principal Whitman looked up, his expression serious. "I want to be clear. What happened with the Thompson boys was unacceptable on their part and in your response, but your progress since then has been exemplary." As Marcus left the office, he reflected on how much had changed in just 3 months. The anger that had simmered inside him since the incident, the feeling of helplessness, of injustice, had transformed into something else. Not gone, but channeled, disciplined. That afternoon at the dojo, Master Hiroshi made another unexpected announcement. Marcus would be testing for his brown belt the following week. The promotion would represent an unprecedented advancement, white to brown, in just over 3 months, a journey that typically took 3 to 4 years. The announcement sent ripples through the dojo community. Some students, particularly those who had trained alongside Marcus and witnessed his dedication, offered congratulations. Others, including several green and purple belts who had been training for years, were visibly disgruntled. Tyler, who had gradually shifted from outright hostility to reluctant acknowledgement of Marcus's skill, approached him after class. "Brown belt test," he said, his tone neutral. "That's a serious evaluation, not just forms and breaking. There's a knowledge component, sparring against multiple opponents, endurance tests." "I know," Marcus replied. "I've been studying the requirements." Tyler hesitated, then added, "If you want, I could help you prepare. I went through it last year." The offer caught Marcus completely by surprise. "Really? You do that?" "Don't make it weird," Tyler said, a hint of his usual edge returning. "I just don't want you embarrassing the dojo if Master Hiroshi is determined to put you forward." Despite the brusque delivery, Marcus recognized the olive branch for what it was. "I'd appreciate that, thanks." Over the next week, Marcus's training intensified beyond anything he had experienced before. Mornings began with the special black belt sessions. Afternoons were regular classes followed by private training with Sensei Eiko. And now, evenings included additional practice with Tyler, who proved to be a demanding but surprisingly effective coach. "Your kata is nearly perfect," Tyler acknowledged during one session. "But your sparring strategy relies too much on athleticism. Against multiple opponents, you need to be smarter, more tactical." Through these sessions, a reluctant mutual respect began to form between them. Tyler's initial resentment seemed to fade as he took on the role of mentor, while Marcus came to appreciate the depth of knowledge that Tyler had accumulated over his years of training. The evening before the brown belt test, Marcus trained later than usual. As the dojo emptied, he found himself alone with Master Hiroshi, who had been observing quietly from the side. "You are prepared," the old master said simply. "I hope so," Marcus replied, wiping sweat from his brow. "I don't want to let you down, or Sensei Eiko or myself." Master Hiroshi nodded thoughtfully. "Tell me, Marcus, what have you learned these past months? Not techniques, but lessons." Marcus considered carefully. "I've learned that strength without control is dangerous. That discipline frees rather than constrains. That progress comes from focus, not just effort." He paused. "And that sometimes people's doubts can become your greatest motivation." "Good lessons," Master Hiroshi acknowledged. "But remember this tomorrow. The true test is not earning the belt, but being worthy of it afterward." The brown belt examination drew an unusual crowd. Word had spread about the prodigy testing for Brown after just 3 months of training. Masters from other dojos attended as observers. Even Marcus's entire family came, his father taking a rare day off work, his mother swapping shifts, Zoe missing soccer practice. The test began with kata demonstrations, first the basic forms, then the more advanced sequences. Marcus performed each with precision, his movements fluid yet powerful. Next came the breaking demonstration, where he shattered a stack of boards with techniques that showcased both strength and perfect form. The knowledge portion followed, with Master Hiroshi questioning Marcus on karate history, philosophy, and principles. His late nights in the library paid off as he answered each question thoughtfully, demonstrating an understanding that went beyond memorized facts. The sparring segment proved most challenging. Facing 3 opponents simultaneously, all brown or black belts tested not just skill but strategy and stamina. As Tyler had warned, raw athleticism wasn't enough. Marcus had to think tactically, using positioning and timing to neutralize his opponent's numerical advantage. Throughout the test, Marcus was aware of the scrutiny from all sides. The visiting masters observed with critical eyes. His family watched with nervous pride. His fellow students' reactions ranged from supportive to skeptical, and Master Hiroshi's expression remained impassive, revealing nothing. When the final segment concluded, Marcus stood center mat, breathing hard but composed. Master Hiroshi conferred briefly with the other black belts, including Sensei Eiko and Sensei David. The dojo fell silent as Master Hiroshi approached. "Marcus Johnson," he began formally, "you have demonstrated exceptional skill, knowledge, and spirit today. It is the unanimous decision of this panel that you have earned the rank of brown belt." As Sensei Eiko presented the brown belt, the dojo erupted in applause, some enthusiastic, some perfunctory. Marcus bowed deeply as the belt was tied around his waist, the weight of it representing far more than its physical presence. In the celebration that followed, Marcus received congratulations from many quarters. His family beamed with pride. Jason offered enthusiastic praise. Even Tyler acknowledged the achievement with a respectful nod. But it was the reaction of the visiting masters that proved most significant. As people began to disperse, Marcus overheard Master Park speaking with Master Hiroshi. "Extraordinary," the Korean master admitted. "In 40 years of teaching, I have never seen such natural talent combined with such dedication." "He is special," Master Hiroshi agreed, "but this is just the beginning of his journey." "The tournament circuit would embrace him," Master Park suggested. "A prodigy like this could go far in competitions." "Perhaps," Master Hiroshi replied noncommittally. "We shall see." Later that evening, as the Johnson family celebrated at Marcus's favorite restaurant, the conversation turned to future possibilities. Master Park mentioned tournaments, Marcus told his parents. "Regional championships, maybe even nationals." "That sounds expensive," Robert cautioned, though his expression was more thoughtful than dismissive. "Travel, registration fees, special equipment." "There are scholarships," Marcus explained, "and some tournaments offer prize money." "Master Hiroshi thinks I could do well." Tanya looked concerned. "What about school? Your academic scholarship is still the priority, Marcus." "I know, Mom, but this could open doors too. Some colleges offer martial arts scholarships, and the discipline helps with my schoolwork. You've seen that." His parents exchanged glances, having one of their silent conversations. Finally, his father spoke. "Let's see how things go. If Master Hiroshi thinks you're ready for tournaments, we'll figure out the rest." As they drove home, Zoe nudged her brother. "So are you like famous in karate world now?" Marcus laughed. "Hardly. Brown belt is still 2 steps from black. That's where the real journey begins." "But you'll get there super fast too, right? Like you did with the others." The question gave Marcus pause. His rapid advancement had become almost expected by others, and he realized by himself. But Master Hiroshi's words echoed in his mind. The true test is not earning the belt, but being worthy of it afterward. "It's not about how fast," he told his sister. "It's about how well." In the weeks following his brown belt promotion, Marcus's training entered a new phase. The techniques became more complex, the philosophical discussions more nuanced, the expectations higher. Master Hiroshi began to incorporate weapons training bow staff, nunchaku, side traditional tools that required even greater precision and control. Meanwhile, preparations began for the regional karate championships scheduled for the following month. East Bridge would send a team of its top students to compete in various categories: kata, weapons, forms, breaking, and sparring. Despite being a new brown belt, Marcus was selected for the team. "The competition will be fierce," Sensei David warned during a special team training session. "Many competitors have been training since they were children. They have years of tournament experience." "Which is why we must focus on perfection rather than flash," Sensei Eiko added. "Clean technique will score higher than dramatic but flawed movements." For Marcus, the approaching tournament created a new kind of pressure. His rapid advancement within the dojo was one thing, proving himself against external competition was another entirely. Despite his confidence in his abilities, doubts began to creep in. These doubts were amplified when, during a public demonstration at a local cultural festival, Marcus overheard a conversation between 2 spectators. "That's him, the one they're calling the prodigy," one man said, pointing toward Marcus. "Brown belt in 3 months. Come on," his companion scoffed. "That's impossible unless they're handing out belts for free, or unless there's some other reason they're pushing him through." The implication was clear and it stung. The question that had haunted Marcus since his first unusual promotion resurfaced. Was his advancement based solely on merit, or were other factors at play? That evening, after an intensive training session, Marcus finally voiced his concerns to Sensei Eiko. "Am I really ready for this tournament?" he asked as they stored equipment. "Or am I being put forward for other reasons?" Eiko's gaze sharpened. "What other reasons do you imagine?" Marcus hesitated, then pressed on. "To make the dojo look progressive, to have a black champion to promote." For a moment, Eiko's expression flickered with something like disappointment. "Do you truly believe my grandfather would compromise his life's work, the integrity of this dojo, for publicity?" "No," Marcus admitted. "But others do, and sometimes I wonder too." Eiko set down the training pad she was holding and faced him directly. "When I first returned from Japan, there were whispers that I had been promoted to 4th-degree black belt only because of my family name, that I had not truly earned my rank." Her eyes held Marcus's steadily. "Those whispers did not matter. What mattered was that I knew the truth of my abilities. How did you handle it?" "I let my karate speak for itself." She picked up the pad again. "As you will at the tournament." The regional championships were held at the convention center downtown, with over 30 dojos from 3 states participating. The competition areas were spread across the main floor, with hundreds of spectators filling the surrounding seats. As the East Bridge team arrived, Marcus felt the weight of expectation from all sides. His fellow team members looked to him as their potential star performer. Master Hiroshi and the senseis watched for the validation of their accelerated training program. And Marcus himself needed to prove, to others and to himself, that his advancement had been earned. The day began with preliminary rounds of kata competition. Marcus performed the Basai Dai, an intermediate brown belt form that showcased powerful blocking techniques and dynamic stance transitions. His execution was nearly flawless, earning him one of the highest scores of the round and advancing him to the finals. The weapons division followed, where Marcus demonstrated a bow staff form that he had learned in just 2 weeks. Despite his limited experience with the weapon, his natural coordination and intense preparation carried him through to a respectable 4th-place finish. By midday, Marcus had established himself as a serious competitor, drawing attention from judges and spectators alike. During a break between events, Tyler approached him near the warm-up area. "You're doing well," he acknowledged. "Better than my first tournament." "Thanks," Marcus replied, adjusting his belt. "Still nervous about the sparring division, though. That's where experience really matters." Tyler nodded. "True, but you've got good instincts. Just remember what we practiced. Don't rely just on speed and power. Use strategy." He hesitated, then added, "You belong here, Johnson. Remember that." Coming from Tyler, the affirmation meant more than all the earlier congratulations combined. The sparring competition proved to be as challenging as expected. Marcus's first opponent, a black belt from a taekwondo school, had been competing for over a decade. His kicks were devastatingly fast, forcing Marcus to adapt quickly, using counter techniques that Sensei Eiko had drilled into him. By a narrow margin, Marcus advanced to the second round, where he faced an older karateka from a traditional Shotokan dojo. This opponent was less dynamic but technically precise, scoring points with perfectly timed strikes that found gaps in Marcus's defense. The match ended in a tie, forcing a sudden death overtime where the first point would determine the winner. As they squared off, Marcus could feel the entire East Bridge team watching intently. This was the moment that would either validate or undermine his status as a prodigy. The opponent attacked with a textbook reverse punch. In that split second, Marcus recognized the movement from countless drills with Sensei Eiko. Rather than blocking directly, he shifted slightly, letting the punch just miss its target, then countered with a perfectly timed ridge hand strike that connected cleanly. "Point. Winner, East Bridge," the referee announced. The semifinals brought Marcus against the tournament favorite, a college-aged black belt who had won the division the previous 2 years. The difference in experience was immediately apparent. Despite Marcus's best efforts, his opponent controlled the match from the outset, scoring 3 quick points with techniques that seemed to anticipate Marcus's movements before he made them. The defeat was decisive but not demoralizing. As Marcus bowed to his opponent, he felt a curious sense of relief. He had reached the semifinals in his first tournament, a significant achievement by any standard. But the loss was a humbling reminder that true mastery required more than natural talent. It required the experience that only time could provide. After the tournament, as the team gathered to review their performance, Master Hiroshi addressed them. "Today you have all represented East Bridge with honor. Some have earned trophies, others valuable experience. Both are worthy achievements." His eyes met Marcus's briefly before continuing. "Remember that in karate, as in life, we learn more from our defeats than from our victories. A loss shows us where we must improve. A victory often only confirms what we already know. On the drive home, with a second-place kata trophy and a third-place sparring medal beside him, Marcus reflected on the day's events. The doubts that had plagued him seemed less significant now. He had tested himself against external standards and proven his ability not comprehensively, but substantially. More importantly, he had begun to understand that his karate journey was not about rapid advancement or accumulated accolades. It was about continuous improvement, about pushing beyond current limitations, about the integration of physical technique with mental discipline and spiritual growth. His phone buzzed with a text from Jason. "Dude, you were amazing today. Third place in your first tournament? Next time, gold for sure." Marcus smiled at his friend's enthusiasm but typed back, "Not about the medals, just want to keep improving." As weeks passed, Marcus settled into a new training rhythm. The intensity remained high, but the focus shifted from advancement to refinement. Rather than learning new techniques, he concentrated on perfecting those he already knew, finding subtle nuances in movements he had previously considered mastered. This period of consolidation brought a deeper appreciation for the art. Where before he had sometimes rushed through forms to demonstrate proficiency, now he found satisfaction in the execution itself, the perfect alignment of body and breath, the precise application of power, the flow from one movement to the next. 4 months after earning his brown belt, Marcus was approached by Master Hiroshi after a special training session. "Your progress continues to impress," the elderly master said, "but more importantly, your understanding has deepened. You no longer chase the next belt, you seek mastery of the present moment." "Thank you, Master," Marcus replied. "I've been trying to focus on quality rather than advancement." Master Hiroshi nodded approvingly. "That realization marks an important transition from student to practitioner." He paused, studying Marcus thoughtfully. "I believe you are ready to begin preparation for your black belt examination." The statement hung in the air between them. Black belt, the goal that most karateka spent years working toward. The rank that in traditional dojos like East Bridge represented not just technical proficiency but a philosophical transformation. "Master," Marcus began carefully, "that would mean reaching black belt in less than a year. Is that appropriate?" Master Hiroshi's expression remained serene. "The question is not whether it is appropriate for others, but whether it is appropriate for you. Time is but one measure of readiness. Understanding, skill, spirit, these are equally important measures. There will be resistance," Marcus pointed out. "Questions about whether I've truly earned it." "Indeed," Master Hiroshi acknowledged. "The path of the exceptional is rarely smooth. You must decide if you are prepared not just for the examination itself, but for the scrutiny that will follow." That evening, Marcus discussed the situation with his family over dinner. His father, whose initial skepticism had evolved into proud support, leaned forward with interest. "Black belt," Robert repeated. "That's the real deal, right? The top rank?" "It's the first of the Dan ranks," Marcus explained. "In traditional karate, it's considered the beginning of true study, not the end." "Still," his mother interjected, "it's a major achievement, especially in such a short time." Zoe looked up from her plate. "Will people be mad like they were about your other promotions?" The question in its adolescent directness cut to the heart of Marcus's concern. "Probably," he admitted. "Some will say it's too soon, that I haven't put in the years that others have." "And what do you think?" Tanya asked. Marcus considered carefully. "I think I'm ready in terms of skill and knowledge. Master Hiroshi believes I am, and he doesn't make these decisions lightly." He paused. "But I also understand why others might question it." 7 months from white to black belt breaks every conventional timeline. "Since when do you care about conventional?" Robert challenged. "You got into Westridge by breaking convention. Track scholarships don't usually go to kids from our neighborhood." "It's different, Dad. Karate is built on tradition, on established progression. Breaking that feels disruptive." His father's expression softened slightly. "Son, progress always disrupts something. Question is whether it's disruption for good reason or bad. If you've earned this, truly earned it, then the tradition will survive." Later that night, Marcus called Jason, needing the perspective of a fellow student who had witnessed his entire journey at East Bridge. "Black belt," Jason whistled when Marcus shared the news. "That's huge. When would the test be?" 2 months from now," Marcus replied. "Intensive preparation until then." "You know what people will say," Jason warned. "Yeah, that it's too soon. I'm getting special treatment." "Some will," Jason agreed. "But others have seen you train, the hours you put in, the focus, the rapid progress. It's not like you've been cutting corners." "What about you?" Marcus asked directly. "You've been training for what, 3 years now? Are you okay with me testing for black belt before you?" There was a brief silence before Jason responded. Honestly, at first watching you advance so quickly was difficult. It made me question my own progress, my own commitment. Another pause. But then I realized something important. Your journey isn't mine. We're different people with different aptitudes, different circumstances. Your success doesn't diminish my efforts. The maturity of Jason's perspective struck Marcus deeply. That's really wise, man. Besides, Jason added with a chuckle, having a friend with a black belt means better sparring practice for me. Win-win. The decision made, Marcus embarked on the most intensive training period yet. Black belt preparation at East Bridge was traditionally a solitary journey, a candidate working independently to refine techniques, deepen knowledge, and prepare for the comprehensive examination. Master Hiroshi outlined the requirements: mastery of all kata through advanced black belt forms, proficiency with traditional weapons, demonstration of breaking techniques, comprehensive knowledge of karate history and philosophy, and finally, a demonstration of sparring skills against multiple black belt opponents. Most significantly, Master Hiroshi explained, you must demonstrate integration, the harmonious balance of physical technique, mental discipline, and spiritual awareness that defines a true martial artist. The news of Marcus's black belt candidacy spread quickly through the dojo and beyond. As expected, reactions were mixed. Some celebrated it as recognition of exceptional talent. Others criticized it as a devaluation of traditional standards. The debate even reached martial arts forums online, where Marcus's journey was discussed by people who had never met him, based solely on second-hand accounts of his rapid advancement. Through it all, Marcus maintained his focus, training with an intensity that surprised even those who had witnessed his earlier dedication. Mornings began before dawn with solitary practice. School hours were followed by regular classes, then special training, then additional solo work, often lasting until the dojo closed. Sensei Eiko continued to mentor him, but with a different approach. Rather than directing his training, she now primarily observed, offering guidance only when asked or when she noticed a critical issue that eluded his awareness. A black belt must be self-sufficient, she explained, capable of evaluating and correcting their own technique. I cannot always be there to guide you. Tyler, who had completed his own black belt examination 2 months earlier, became an unexpected ally. Having moved past his initial resentment, he now regularly volunteered as a sparring partner, pushing Marcus to refine his combat strategies against a skilled opponent. Your front kick telegraphs slightly, he noted during one session. There's a small shift in your shoulder before you launch it. Against experienced black belts, that's all they need to counter. As the examination date approached, even some of the more skeptical black belts began to acknowledge Marcus's readiness. His mastery of advanced kata was undeniable. His breaking demonstrations showed both power and precision. His knowledge of karate history and philosophy had depth beyond his years, yet doubts persisted, both external and internal. One evening, after a particularly grueling training session, Marcus found himself alone in the dojo, practicing the black belt kata seinchin, a form emphasizing controlled breathing and rooted stances. Despite his exhaustion, he repeated the kata again and again, seeking a perfection that seemed just beyond reach. He didn't notice Master Hiroshi observing until the elderly master spoke. You drive yourself hard. Marcus stopped mid-movement, bowing respectfully. I want to be ready. Ready for the examination or ready to silence the doubters? The question struck uncomfortably close to the truth. Both, I suppose. Master Hiroshi approached, his movements measured but graceful despite his age. Let me show you something. He demonstrated a sequence from the kata, his execution simple yet profound. What do you see? Marcus watched closely. Efficiency, economy of movement, no wasted energy. Yes, and what else? Marcus hesitated, sensing a deeper lesson. Confidence, he ventured. Certainty in each movement. Master Hiroshi nodded. That certainty comes not from convincing others, but from knowing oneself. He placed a hand on Marcus's shoulder. You seek external validation when you should be finding internal certainty. How do I do that? Marcus asked. By understanding why you practice karate, not for belts or recognition or to prove others wrong, but for the harmony it brings within yourself. Master Hiroshi's eyes, though aged, held an intensity that commanded attention. When you find that reason, your true reason, the opinions of others will matter less. That night, as Marcus lay awake considering Master Hiroshi's words, he realized how his motivation had evolved over the months. What began as a practical need for self-defense had become a quest for validation, then achievement, then mastery. But beneath all these layers was something more fundamental, the simple joy of the practice itself, the feeling of mind and body working in perfect coordination, the satisfaction of continuous improvement, the peace that came with focused attention. This realization brought a subtle but significant shift in his approach. In the final weeks before the examination, Marcus trained not to impress others or to silence critics, but to honor the art that had transformed him. The external pressure seemed to fall away, replaced by an internal clarity that enhanced rather than hindered his preparation. The day of the black belt examination arrived with a sense of inevitability. The dojo was filled beyond capacity: students, parents, visiting masters, even local media drawn by the story of the teen prodigy. Marcus's family sat in the front row, his father filming proudly on his phone, his mother clasping her hands nervously, Zoe bouncing with excitement. The examination committee consisted of Master Hiroshi, 4 other high-ranking black belts from affiliated dojos, and Master Park, whose initial skepticism had evolved into cautious respect. Their presence underscored the seriousness of the evaluation. This would be no ceremonial promotion, but a rigorous assessment by multiple expert observers. As Marcus stepped onto the mat in his brown belt, he felt a surprising calm. The months of intensive preparation, the guidance of Master Hiroshi and Sensei Eiko, the support of his family and friends, even the criticism that had pushed him to examine his motivations, all had brought him to this moment fully prepared. The examination began with kata demonstrations, starting with the basic forms and progressing through the entire curriculum to the advanced black belt kata. Marcus performed each with a fluid precision that reflected not just technical mastery but deep understanding of the principles behind the movements. The weapons segment followed, where he demonstrated proficiency with bow staff, nunchaku, and sai. Each weapon extension of his body, each movement purposeful and controlled. For the breaking demonstration, Marcus faced a challenge rarely included in black belt examinations: 5 boards stacked together to be broken with a single strike. As he prepared, centering his breath and focus, the dojo fell completely silent. The task before him wasn't just a test of physical strength, but of perfect technique, channeling maximum force through precise alignment. With a ki that seemed to come from his core, Marcus executed a downward strike that shattered all 5 boards cleanly. The sound echoed through the dojo, followed by spontaneous applause from even the most skeptical observers. The knowledge portion demonstrated his comprehensive understanding of karate's historical and philosophical foundations. When questioned about the relationship between martial practice and everyday life, Marcus spoke of discipline, awareness, and the constant pursuit of self-improvement principles he had not just studied but embodied. Finally came the sparring demonstration, the most demanding segment of the examination. Marcus would face 3 black belts simultaneously, a test of not just technique but strategy, stamina, and adaptability. Tyler was among the opponents, along with Sensei David and another senior black belt. As they squared off, Marcus reminded himself of Master Hiroshi's teachings: position before submission, technique before strength, mind before body. The match began with a flurry of attacks from all 3 opponents, testing Marcus's defensive capabilities. Rather than meeting force with force, he used positioning and timing to neutralize the numerical advantage, creating one-on-one engagements that he could manage. For 5 intense minutes, the combat continued. Marcus scored points with clean, precise techniques while avoiding or blocking most attacks directed at him. When the final whistle blew, he remained standing, breathing hard but composed, having demonstrated a level of skill that belied his brief training period. As the examination committee conferred, Marcus knelt in the center of the mat, his expression serene despite the enormity of the moment. Whatever the outcome, he knew he had given his absolute best, not for the belt itself, but for the journey it represented. Master Hiroshi approached with a black belt folded in his hands. The dojo fell silent. "Marcus Johnson," he began, his voice carrying clearly through the room. "Today you have demonstrated exceptional skill, knowledge, and spirit. But more importantly, you have shown the integration of these elements, the harmony of technique, mind, and heart that defines a true martial artist." He unfolded the belt slowly. "It is the unanimous decision of this committee that you have earned the rank of Shodan first-degree black belt in Shotokan Karate-do." As Master Hiroshi tied the black belt around Marcus's waist, completing a journey that had begun just 7 months earlier, the dojo erupted in applause. Even those who had questioned his rapid advancement seemed moved by the demonstration they had witnessed. In that moment of achievement, Marcus remembered his sister's question from months before. "But you'll get there super fast too, right? Like you did with the others." His answer then had proven prophetic. It's not about how fast, it's about how well. The celebration afterward was subdued compared to the intensity of the examination. Marcus received congratulations from many quarters, including sincere acknowledgement from Master Park. I questioned your readiness, the Korean master admitted, but today you proved that some journeys, though unconventional in their timeline, can still reach the proper destination. Sensei Aiko's recognition was characteristically direct. Today marks the beginning, not the end. Black belt is the first step on the true path of karate, Marcus nodded. I understand, Sensei, and I'm ready for that path. Later, as the dojo emptied and his family waited outside, Marcus found himself alone with Master Hiroshi. The elderly master studied him with thoughtful eyes. How do you feel? He asked simply. Grateful, Marcus replied honestly, for your guidance, for the opportunity to learn, for everything this journey has taught me about myself. Master Hiroshi nodded, satisfied. When you first came here, you sought to defend yourself from others. Now you understand the greater challenge, mastering yourself. Yes, Master. There will be those who question your achievement, Master Hiroshi continued, who say 7 months is too little time to earn a black belt. Let your character and your karate answer them. I will, Marcus promised. As they walked together toward the door, Master Hiroshi added, next week we begin preparation for the national championships, and afterward perhaps discussions about teacher training. Your journey has only begun, Marcus Johnson. Outside, surrounded by his family's proud embrace, Marcus felt the weight of the black belt around his waist, not as a burden of expectation, but as an emblem of transformation. What had started as a counselor's recommendation had become the foundation for his future. His father clapped him on the shoulder. Never seen anything like that performance today, son. You showed them all. He sure did, Zoe agreed enthusiastically. My brother the black belt. His mother studied him with knowing eyes. You've changed, she observed quietly. It's not just the karate skills, it's something deeper. Marcus nodded, understanding exactly what she meant. The angry, reactive boy who had fought behind the school gym was gone, replaced by someone more centered, more disciplined, more at peace with himself and the world around him. As they walked to the car, Marcus noticed a group of younger students watching him with undisguised awe. Among them was a small black boy, perhaps 10 years old, newly enrolled based on his white belt. The boy's eyes followed Marcus with an intensity that seemed familiar, the same hunger for belonging, for achievement, for transformation that had driven Marcus himself. Making a decision, Marcus approached the boy and knelt to his level. What's your name? Jamal, the boy replied shyly. I'm Marcus. How long have you been training? 2 weeks, Jamal said. I'm still learning the basic stuff. Marcus nodded seriously. That's where it all starts. The basics are the most important part. Did you really get your black belt in just 7 months? Jamal asked, his voice hushed with wonder. I did, Marcus confirmed, but the time doesn't matter as much as the dedication. If you train with your whole heart with Shojin, you'll find your own path. What's Shojin? Jamal's pronunciation was careful, respectful. It means complete dedication, Marcus explained, giving everything you have to what you're doing in every moment. Jamal considered this, then asked with heartbreaking earnestness, Do you think I could do that too? Get good like you? Marcus placed a hand on the boy's shoulder, recognizing in him the same potential, the same need for guidance and belief that Master Hiroshi had recognized in Marcus months ago. The circle was completing itself, the student beginning the transition to teacher. With dedication and the right guidance, absolutely, Marcus told him with complete conviction. The path is there for anyone willing to walk it with their whole heart. As Marcus rejoined his family, he glanced back at the dojo where his journey had begun, the place where he had sought merely to defend himself and found instead a way to transform himself. The black belt around his waist represented not the end of that journey but a milestone along a continuing path. Master Hiroshi stood in the doorway, watching. Their eyes met briefly, a moment of understanding passing between them. The master nodded once, acknowledging not just Marcus's achievement but his deeper comprehension of what that achievement meant. Tomorrow would bring new challenges, new goals, new opportunities to grow. But tonight, Marcus Johnson, once an angry teen seeking protection, now a black belt embodying discipline and purpose, walked forward with confidence, ready for whatever the path ahead might hold. Inside him, the flame of Shojin burned bright and steady, illuminating not just his own way forward, but potentially the paths of others who would follow in his footsteps.